Here we go. Welcome into the gray space, everyone.
Welcome in.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
the door's
Come
open.
on in.
Door's
Come on
open.
in. Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Walk right in.
Shoot, man.
Kick your shoes off at the door, though.
That's right. Grab yourself some popcorn.
Man.
You know, some
Drink.
snacks.
Some snacks.
Man, get yourself a drink. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, man, how's everything going, man?
Everything's well, man. Everything's well. 2020 is going good so far. It's going by quickly. You know, it's yesterday was New Year's, and Christmas is tomorrow.
That's right, man. It
You know
seems
what I'm
that
saying?
way. Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
It for sure seems that
I'm
way.
already buying gifts right now.
Right?
Cause literally, bro, we just 5, 4, 3, 2, Christmas. What?
Right.
Huh? I'm lost.
Right, man. Yeah.
It's just been going by very quickly, but it's dope, man. I mean, we've had a great start to the year.
Yep.
You know,
the older
everything's
you
doing
get,
good.
the faster it goes, man.
Yeah, man.
You know
I'm turning 33
that you are.
in the
young man that
in the
you are.
upcoming week, man,
Yeah.
and so
Dirty 30s.
dirty 30s, man.
Yeah, man. Nice.
So yeah, man. Excited to celebrate my birthday by doing nothing.
Hey, man, there ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Hey,
Seriously, there ain't nothing
I-
wrong with that.
I ain't celebrated a birthday like I'm still thinking, bro. Like I have no idea, man.
Oh, man. Been that long, huh?
Yeah, man. It's just
It's because I haven't been around. That's why.
yeah, we doing it up.
Right?
You know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
I'll be in trouble for
That's all right. It's
2
worth.
weeks.
It's worth the trouble. You're going to get grounded, man.
Hey, man, come on, man.
You could get grounded.
Grounded. Sit in the corner, nigga.
Right?
So I got something I want to talk about, man. We got Super Bowl coming up
That we do, man. We got Super Bowl coming up.
next weekend, the 2nd. And I'm thinking we got to do You Heard It Here first. I'm thinking we got to do it.
Let's do it. We were wrong about one game.
We were extremely wrong about one game.
But we
last-
were really close on the other one.
We were. So we had the Kansas City game 35-31.
Yep.
It ended up being 35-24.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City. We had Green Bay winning. I had them by a small margin. You had them whooping their ass, and
Right.
none of which were true.
I was thinking by like 14 points or something like
San
that,
Francisco
man.
put them. So you know what's
man,
funny,
they
bro?
took the whooping on man. But that's twice this year, man. They took
I
the
was
whooping.
looking at a stat.
Okay.
Jimmy Garoppolo threw, quarterback for the 49ers, threw for like 6 of 8,
Right.
7 of 9, something like
right.
that.
It was really small.
For 77 yards.
Right, but the running back
And
had
they
like 200.
won.
Right?
How?
They
How, bro?
They had their number, man.
It's 2020.
Yeah, but they had their number.
Quarterbacks
They're
throw
like,
for
yeah.
250 on accident.
Right.
It'd be like 250, 4 interceptions.
Mm-hmm. Right. Not
And
in
they
this game,
won,
did.
bro.
Yeah. Just because they
Crazy.
ran that ball, man, and just killed them with the run.
They
dude.
did
Just
what
straight
they
up
did
killed
what
'em.
Tennessee tried to do to Kansas City. And you know what? Kansas City showed up. They played great defense. They shut down Derrick Henry. They made Ryan Tannehill play quarterback and throw the ball, and they won.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Mahomes is a beast. He's a dog. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So
Super Bowl time.
you heard
man.
it here first. You heard it here first, man.
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Yep. San Francisco's going to win by 50
Yeah,
points.
the Niners
dude.
going to win by flushing themselves down the toilet bowl. You know what I'm saying? No, you know what, man? This is tough for me because, I'm rooting for Kansas City. I'm not sure about this.
What aren't you sure about?
So there's a couple of things. Andy Reid,
Mm-hmm.
love him as a coach.
Right.
We talked about it
Mm-hmm.
on the
We did,
last
yeah.
podcast. But man, does he fucking fold in the highest of pressures. I mean, every time, bro.
Yeah, man, but this could be the
I
year,
hope it
man,
is,
you know?
man. So I'm going. I think Kansas City is the real deal. And it's not even because of Andy Reid. I think Patrick Mahomes is the real deal.
Okay.
And I think this young kid has a chip on his shoulder. I think he keeps hearing the thing about Andy Reid. I think he loves his coach. I think he understands the moment. I think he understands the fact that last year slipped away from him, and they probably should have been in the Super Bowl.
Sure, yeah.
And I think it's just like he's going to come out guns a-blazing. And that's what I think is going to be the difference in this game. Now, San Francisco's defense is not a joke. If there's an answer for Pat Mahomes,
but they're old. They're a little bit old. But
well, they got some young. They got Bosa.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where like Richard Sherman,
Hey, who's still a dog, bro?
I am not discounting him whatsoever.
Don't disrespect the Sherm, bro. Sherm's still going hard, bro.
I'm not disrespecting nothing.
LOB.
I'm just saying, a little bit older, but there's something to not discount the veteran players. You know what I'm saying?
You can't, man.
I mean, he's been there before.
You've been there.
Right. So
been there, done that.
I think this is a really interesting matchup. Now, I really wanted it to be Green Bay and Kansas City.
Of course.
As I said in the last podcast.
But I'll tell you, competition-wise, this is probably the best matchup that we're going to get.
This will probably be a better Super Bowl.
It's going to be a better Super Bowl.
Right.
So I'm going for the red and yellow versus the red and gold. Kansas City. All bias, all subjective. Okay? I'm not even going to hide it. I got Kansas City in a late score to make things look worse than what they actually were. I think it's going to be a close game for 3 quarters. I think it's going to come down to whose quarterback is better. And I'm going to go 28-17.
Okay.
Kansas City. I think it'll be a 21-17 game. You know what I mean? And Niners have a chance. I think it's going to be a very close game.
Cool. I do not.
Okay.
I don't. I don't think so, man. Just kind of, any given Sunday, right?
Your last blowout theory was terrible, so let's see how this one works
hey,
out.
my score on my Kansas City game, because I brought you up.
You did bring me up. I think I had it 28-24 or some shit like that. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, man. But I don't think it's going to be that. So if I think it's going to be close, I don't think it's going to be that low.
Okay.
I think it's going to be more like, I have Kansas City, by the way. I think Kansas City will win.
Okay.
I think Kansas City will win, but I think it'll be like 38-31.
Okay.
I think that's what it'll be. I think they win by.
I don't think so, bro. I think that's way too high of a score.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. But that
38-31? If it's 38-31, I'm not even mad at that, bro. Because I would love high scoring points put on the board and then defense at the end. But I think.
Man, you gotta watch out for KC though, man. They just like to.
Oh, them motherfuckers score points on accident. Like,
right. They'll score 2 touchdowns watching 2 minutes.
Yeah, you went and got some chips.
Right. So
came back. Huh?
Right.
Huh? You know what I'm saying? You went and got some hummus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you went and gotten the chips when the game was playing because you wanted to see the commercials.
You went and dipped in some hummus. Came back, them motherfuckers, and scored 2 touchdowns, man. How'd this happen?
So, yeah, we both got KC.
We both got KC. I got him
But honestly, man, I really wouldn't be surprised if somehow San Fran kind of pulled it out.
Bro.
I'm just saying though, dude. Like it really could go.
There's going to be so many people that don't listen to our podcast because they're like, man, that dude hates the Niners. Fuck the Niners, bro. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Honestly, I do think the Niners have a more complete team. If I'm being objective, I think they have a more complete team because their defense is sound, bro. Good defense. They can stop the pass. They can stop the run. They're good on special teams. Like I think overall they're the better team.
Okay.
I just think Kansas City has the better quarterback.
Okay.
And I think when you're a complete team that's maybe not as complete as the team that you're facing, there's always that factor. And the factor is, do you have the more dynamic player or players? And the big one is, who has the best quarterback? Because when it comes down to crunch time, we saw it with freaking New England and Atlanta. Atlanta was up on them 28-3, and then all of a sudden Tom Brady went, I'm Tom Brady, and came back and won.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't discount the run on San Fran's part. I mean, look what they destroyed Green Bay with the run, dude. Just absolutely
turned that shit off. I turned that shit off early.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see. It definitely will. It'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. Super Bowl's always a good time, man. Get around.
Oh, yeah, man.
Good food.
Snacks.
Friends. Drinks.
All that good shit, man.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Everybody arguing, rooting for a team that that they don't even care about during the regular season.
It's not their team.
I'm going for Kansas City.
Yeah, then they get all upset.
Then they hot, man. Oh, no. So,
oh man!
All right, man. Let's put the scuba gear on, man.
Yeah, man. Let's dive.
We're gonna dive
We're
right
gonna
in.
dive. We're gonna dive really deep in today.
Okay.
The topic I want to bring up today, man, is mental health in today's society. Man.
Wow. Okay.
This has kind of come up this week, and this is why it's kind of been on my mind, and I feel like I want to talk about this with you.
Okay.
So if you haven't heard, here in the state of Arizona, where we're at, and there was a woman who killed her 3 children.
Yes, crazy story.
3, almost 2 years old by like 2 weeks, I think, and
3,
7
2, and 7 months.
7-month-old.
Crazy.
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 And so it made me think, man, we really have a mental health issue. Now, this is in an extreme, obviously, right, of mental health. Take, for instance, school shootings.
It is, but it's becoming more common. So
right. You have school shootings. You have the shootings in Las Vegas. You have people going into their work, shooting up the place.
Man.
People
just losing their minds, killing motherfuckers for no reason.
But I think the thing that we're not addressing, and we keep, for whatever reason, is why are we not talking about the state of somebody's mental health? And as a society, why do we not put the importance on that? So let's take, for instance, a shooting, no matter whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And we always talk about taking away the guns. And whatever your position is on that, okay, but I think the real issue is if you're going to take any weapon, whether it be a knife, a gun, a crowbar, whatever, and try to do something to hurt somebody or to kill them with intent to kill, you have a mental issue. You have a mental problem.
Okay.
So that's where I'm coming up with where is our mental health in this country? I think it's really kind of gone. We're brushing it under the rug.
You think so?
I do. I don't think it's being addressed. Really just don't think it's being addressed, man. Like, let's go back to the woman that killed her 3 kids. She had her kids taken away at one point.
Right.
And then they were like, yeah, well, we kind of have to give them, I don't know how, I don't know the whole details of it, but they gave them basically, Right. She kind of fell through the cracks,
Right.
if you will, right? Got her kids back. This was all in Oklahoma. And then she moved here. She's only been here for like 7 months.
Yeah, like barely moved to AZ.
Right. And, she has a drug problem, right? Now, you could blame it on the drugs, okay? Again. But why are you taking the drugs? It's just like if somebody's drinking, right, to put a Band-Aid over their mental health,
Right.
you're not addressing the real problem here.
Okay.
The real problem is mental health in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think it's being addressed.
Okay.
So, my question is do you think that there's a mental health issue problem in this country?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm in the corner. I'm in the corner ropes right now, man. I'm just listening.
But there's also, okay, I want to touch on a kind of that's extreme, right?
That's super extreme.
That's very extreme.
Yeah, but like I said,
But
it's
it's still
becoming
mental
more.
health.
It's becoming more commonplace,
Right.
in today's society, where these people are just going from oh my god to oh my god, like they're just losing their minds and doing crazy shit, and it's every day on the news.
Right.
Every day.
Every day.
Social media, news, whatever.
Right.
They're losing their minds.
So, I mean, there's different stages of this. I even put myself in mental health problems in certain times of my life.
We all
right?
we all
go through it, right? And yes, there's extremes of maybe somebody does need to be on medication because there's an imbalance in their brain. But I don't think that's always the case. I think the case is sometimes you're being bullied.
There's so many factors,
oh,
bro.
Dude, I mean, we can list, right? You're being bullied. There's, social media, you see, somebody's life being glamorized and you're like, why don't I have that life? So the mental issue of that.
Factors.
Right. But what do you think a solution is to get over mental health? I guess would be my question proposed to you. I know it's really kind of deep, dude, but
man,
I think it's something that
it's
a conversation.
It's a conversation we need to have,
and I think the whole country kind of needs to have this conversation.
And so I think that we're having this conversation more now than we ever have. And so when you say we're not addressing it, well, we never addressed it, right? Mm-hmm. It only came up as in these crazy court cases where somebody and prejudice, racism sometimes played a part in that.
Sure.
Right? So you'd have this white guy, white woman, right? Mm-hmm. Who went off and did some crazy shit, and then insanity. Right? Mm-hmm. And then it almost became a norm in these like crazy cases for them to plead that, because it was like, there's no way somebody in their right mind. Well, it happens, right? Maybe they're not in their right mind, but maybe that's the way that their mind works. And if it was intentional, it was intentional. It doesn't matter. Right. The law is law. Mm-hmm. Take that out of it. We did not address it for a long time.
Right.
And I think we are addressing it more, especially because you got these young kids now who are making music about it and talking about it. And you got young artists who are talking about depression. Mm-hmm. and so my feelings are mixed on it, right? Okay.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think that, because mental institutions were a big thing back in the day. They're still around, but they almost have like a stigmatism to them as far as like, especially movies and stuff. But a lot of stuff is shut down because they did a lot of crazy stuff.
They did a lot of crazy shit.
Right, where they drilling in their brains or electroshock therapies,
right.
or I mean, whatever
A lot of
crazy stuff
tests.
that they were doing to people,
Right.
And wasn't
Right.
making them better, was making them worse, making them more crazy.
And the funny thing is, bro, they still doing similar things in the prison system.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
And
right.
so, man, this is a subject that it's so subjective and it's so broad. So I'm going to try to shortly say my speech
Yeah.
and give my opinion, and we can go from there. Mental health issues are a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're a thing with every single person in this world.
Right. That they are.
There's no difference between your physical health and your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, what's more important is your mental health.
Yes.
Because your mental health really eventually affects your physical health.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
Scientifically proven,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have not paid attention to mental health issues. What makes us upset? Why we reacted the way we do? How past things have affected us and how they still do.
Right.
We do this at an early age, right? And so we talked about communication last week. We do this in communication in our families. That affects our mental health,
Right.
right?
I'm glad you brought up communication, though, because I think that piggybacks off what we were talking about last week, and that's why I actually kind of brought it up to that. I think it's really one of the most important things for mental health.
It is.
First of all, is for the person who is having an issue. Now let's take the extremes out of it for a minute.
Take the extremes out of it, man,
Because I don't know what to do with I don't know what goes through people's minds that you want to take other people's lives or your kids' lives, crazy. I don't understand it, right?
Right.
But like people like you and me, in the sense of, mental health, I think it helps to talk about it with somebody.
You have to.
And then here we go again with the listener part of it.
But again, man, it's acknowledging when
that's the first step, obviously, is to acknowledge that you are going through something.
It starts young, bro. It starts young.
Right.
Be quiet.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being a weenie. You know what I'm saying? And look, man, I'm tough on my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I've never heard you say that to your kids.
No. But I've told them, hey, cut it out. Stop crying. But my immediate response after that is, tell me how you feel.
Right.
Crying, right? Because then there's nothing wrong with crying.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, you have to learn how to articulate your feelings, right? You can't just, right? So kids throw tantrums. No, okay. Get out of the tantrum. Tell me what's wrong so we can figure it out.
Right.
And if you're wrong in your feelings, not wrong in your feelings, if maybe you're not seeing it the way that I see it, then we'll have a discussion. We'll figure it out.
Right.
Right. And so, but it starts there. Now, then you add trauma into the mix. A kid saw something at an early age, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever.
Right.
They saw something, or they continually saw something that maybe was not severely traumatic, but it was so consistently, you know what I mean? It was like a jab to the mind every time. And every time you saw it, you looked at it, you went, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Right? And that affected you. And you tried to brush it to the side, but you ended up becoming it ended up affecting you to the point where maybe you started to emulate and imitate some of those same behaviors because you never addressed them, because you don't know.
Right.
It starts so early.
It does. Yeah.
It starts so early. So I think that.
So it starts early.
Starts early.
Okay, fine. Now you become Dre.
Right.
Becoming 33-year-old man.
Right. On the way.
Right. So how do you address your mental health? What do you do to help yourself get out of?
I talk, but
Okay.
I had to teach myself to talk, man.
Right. Okay.
So I had anger issues, man, and I still things frustrate me, and I get a little. I'm like right, and so but I've had to, for one, talk to people and learn how to express my feelings, and I'm still working on it day to day.
Well, I think that's key. Anyways, I think you always are working on stuff.
Always.
I think you should, as a human, to constantly, evolve yourself into a better person.
Yeah.
Not every day is fantastic. Not every day is happy and positive and happy-go-lucky. And it just doesn't. It's just not the way it is.
I think
But there are ways to pull yourself out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think communication is a big part of that. But I also think there's other things you
got
can
to
do
dive
too.
into it to in order to pull yourself out of it. And I think that.
And what I mean by pull yourself out of that is because you're acknowledging that's what I mean.
That's the point. That's
what I mean.
Right.
So when you're pulling yourself, there's ways to pull yourself out.
Yes.
But the first step, obviously, is realizing, hey,
something's not right here.
I'm a little fucked right now.
I'm
Something's
not.
off. I'm
right.
not good. Not in a good space. I need to. And then you go, I need to get myself out of this space.
Right.
And it's not immediate. It's not like,
no.
oh yeah, I figured it out. Now it's,
No,
man,
Oh, no.
but you start learning from that. So I think the first step in anything, and I even think with extreme cases as well, is communication, talking about stuff. Now, like we're talking about, some of that stuff is super extreme. It could be a chemical imbalance in the brain.
Right.
Of you need medication and stuff like that.
Right.
I just don't think that's the case for a lot of people, but I feel like we're being shoved medication down our throat because you go talk to some sort of therapist or doctor.
Oh yeah.
And you go, man, I just feel depressed, and they go, well, here, take this medication to put a Band-Aid over it, and you're like,
look, and I'm no medical expert.
No, none of us are, but I just, it's just.
But I will say this, that I believe that what happens with the medication, and I believe certain people need medication.
Oh, 100%. I'm not saying it doesn't need to exist.
Now I think that there's always alternatives to the big drug companies, but I haven't found them. Right, I haven't found most of them, and so I can't speak to that. Right, I'm not a doctor. I don't deal with that stuff. Right. So, but I do think what may happen sometimes is that, as with anything that you put in your body, you become dependent on it.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Your body reacts, adapts.
It's just like blood pressure medication too, man. Your body
Dude,
reacts
it's
to
just
that.
like working out.
Right.
If you work out and you go hard, but you do the same workout every week.
Right.
Monday, you do the same thing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You do the same thing every week.
Right.
Initially, your body will react to it in a certain way. Right? Eventually, it'll go.
It just plateaus.
It plateaus.
Right. It just kind of levels itself out.
Right?
Right. Yep.
Now, you stop working out.
Mm-hmm.
What's your body going to go? What's your body going to do? It's going to go into shock.
Right.
Because it realizes and recognizes that, okay, I need this every week, right? But I need a challenge. But at the same time, when you stop feeding it that same fuel, your body goes into a frenzy. So it's the same thing with these medications, right? Initially, boom, works. Fantastic.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you almost feel like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything's. The initial feeling is, man, this is really working.
Right.
The next feeling is, it's working. I'm good. I'm regular.
Right.
Go off of it.
Right.
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
0 to 1,000 like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so that's where we have to be careful, because then the chemical dependency that our bodies will create from these drugs can actually lead to, one day I missed today. I missed today. I'm losing my motherfucking mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It becomes so dependent on that
So
particular
dependent.
drug. But see, and then that's also the same thing with somebody who's dealing with some kind of depression, or, you know, not in the right mental space. They start drinking. They start doing different kinds of drugs.
Right.
There's all kinds of stuff that you can get yourself into that doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could be, you know,
There's people
dive
that
yourself deep into some porn shit or what. I mean, you
Bro,
know, whatever. Weird,
bro,
like you're
eating disorders.
just deep into your brain will just start
right?
eating itself.
Bulimia.
Yeah, it just basically starts
Right?
eating
Like,
itself. Yeah.
Those are created from
Right.
mental health issues.
Right. So, you know, I mean, just for me personally, like I was saying, I think it's important to communicate and talk about it and say,
For
hey,
sure.
look, you know.
Now, I got a
I'll
question
call
for
up
you.
And, you know, and be like, hey, man, you know, it sucks. You know,
Of course.
I think I did that to you just, you know, last week, actually.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, man, I'm not in a good spot, man. I'm pissed off. I'm not happy where my life is at the moment with my job. And it's not like my job sucks or anything. It's just, you know, just
Yeah, I mean,
dealing with
you
certain
weren't.
shit.
It's over,
I'm
but
just
you were like,
saying.
man, today, man, fuck this shit.
Yeah, you know, mentally,
Right.
I was checked out. I was
Checked out.
like, I'm, you know, but it's not good to be in that headspace, though, is what
No.
I'm saying. It's not healthy to be mentally
No.
in that state. But what's your question, man?
So my question to you is, for those that feel like that they don't have the avenues, the pathways to go down that we're speaking of, somebody to talk to,
Okay.
or maybe they've seen, you know, a place that they can call, or
Right.
they feel like, man, it's going to be the same shit. They're going to put me through the same shit, right? How do we help them? Because really, those are the people that we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that we're talking about that, you know, don't have a strong base around them. I have a strong base around me.
Sure. I could say we both do, probably.
We both
yeah.
do.
Right.
And so there's not a person that's in my immediate circle that I can't go to, right? And there's sometimes that I keep things to myself just because I feel like I can internalize it and get through it.
Sure.
But I've also learned to kind of try to let those things go, or try to give them away when I can, or even if it's at the point where I'm like, I tried my damnedest and I can't, so I'm going to give it away. But for those people who have had these traumatic experiences and they feel like they don't have anybody, right? And they're afraid to go to a stranger and talk to. How do we help them?
So
what do we do? How do we convince those people to speak about their issues?
So I think the thing that popped in my head was you cannot make excuses for yourself. Even, times are hard. You have to seek out somebody. You have to. You can't be afraid to be like, well, what you're doing is, when you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, yeah, but when you say that to yourself, you're putting a limitation on yourself. You're putting yourself down.
It's easy, okay, but if you're at a point, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No, I know you are, but what I'm saying is you, right? People do this to themselves constantly. They get in their own way.
Right.
You're basically standing in your own way. You're putting limitations on yourself. So all the excuses you're telling me, it's the same thing if somebody was in a bad spot and they were like, I don't want to talk to strangers. I don't have do you, or do you just not want to deal with it? Like, really?
But that's a real thing though, bro.
I'm not saying it's not a real thing.
Some people, okay, go ahead.
I'm not saying it's not a real thing. See, that's the thing, man. We got to overcome the point of putting limitations on ourselves in the sense of you're standing in your own way to move forward. Why are you standing in your own way?
How?
Get the hell out of your own way and go talk to somebody.
How?
That's how you do it. Get the hell out of your way. I just told you how.
You can do it. I can do it. Okay? You also have to be equipped with the right tools, and not everybody is. That's my point. Not everybody is equipped with the right tools, right?
I'm with you on that. Okay.
And so it may be chemically, mentally. They're look, man. There was a documentary just came out last week. Mm-hmm. So I'm super stoked that we're talking about this. Aaron Hernandez documentary.
Right.
Fucking amazing. Okay. Guy was, if you just watch football, watch the NFL, Aaron Hernandez had the talent to be the greatest tight end of all time. And I'm not bullshitting you. The kid was talented. Had troubles. Had troubles in college. Had troubles coming out of high school. Had troubles in college. Had troubles going into the NFL. Mm-hmm. Patriots thought they could deal with him. Got signed to a $40 million contract as a tight end. Okay? Kill motherfuckers. And they suspect that he killed people in college. Then commits suicide. Go watch the documentary. It's on Netflix. Killer Inside, Aaron Hernandez story. But he had dealt with so many issues growing up. Mm-hmm. Dad dies in high school.
Right.
Probably had some homosexuality issues for himself, right? That he wasn't able to deal with because his dad was so, quote unquote, traditional, right? Mom goes and starts dating his cousin's boyfriend after the dad, like all this crazy shit. And so as he got older, he was not equipped to handle those issues. Like I feel, look, and I'm not making any excuses for what he did. Not at all. Because he made those decisions, but he was not equipped to deal with the shit that he was going through. Nobody was there to begin with. So how do we help them? Like, me and you, we got it. We know what to do.
Right.
How do we help that person?
I don't know if I have an answer for you. I don't know.
Because it ain't just giving them drugs and saying, take this 2 times a day and you're fine. because
Right.
that does not deal with the fucking issues.
Right. Like I said, it's like putting a Band-Aid over it.
That's
It's
it,
not-
man. And
it's
the
not really
smallest Band-Aid.
Right. And it's not really dealing with the issue of being right mentally, you know?
Right.
And the brain is it's very interesting. We all think differently. I mean, my goodness, that yellow that we see the speakers at, you know, what shade of yellow is that?
Right.
You probably see it differently than I see it.
Right.
And it might be just the slightest. If we
Slightest.
can
Right.
describe that color, right?
Right.
So
right.
I still think, man, I still think if you know, if you are not you're in that really bad spot, like there's really, you have to realize, it's just like with any like drug addiction or anything, only you can help yourself at a certain point.
Right.
You know, so there's not much that, you know, somebody can do for you unless you want it.
Right.
So I think that's what I was trying to say.
No,
like,
I agree.
you
I
know,
agree.
and
I was just bringing that other perspective in.
I know, and you know, it's true. Like, you know, how do you deal with somebody? But if somebody keeps putting roadblocks in front of themselves,
So I and I hope people know that I wasn't arguing with you. This is a passionate subject for me.
Sure.
Just because it's such a for one, you've seen this come up a lot with young kids, and so it's an issue that we've always had to deal with, but it's also something that, you know, our generation, the generation before us, the generation before them, they just kind of put their backpacks on and they kept rolling through it, right? And figured it out, and you just didn't see, or maybe you just didn't see it because, you know, it wasn't publicized the way it is now. I mean, I don't know, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a very passionate issue for me because, you know, I have 3 kids who are coming up in this world today. I have an older one who's really coming up in this world today, who's seeing these things. And yeah, it's great that these young kids are talking about depression and dealing with mental health issues at a young age. At the same time, I don't know if I had those same issues. Yeah. As deep as it was, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if people really, like, kids, when I was my daughter's age, like, I knew there's probably some kids, but I felt like everybody was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think that's
the scary thing for me is, like, my daughter's coming up. Now, I'm glad it's more visual, but it being more visual, does that, like, almost persuade her to, like, be like, well, you know, I'm depressed too. Right. And then start getting into start focusing on negative things. So
right. And then you're talking kind of about social media stuff too, though. That's
all that shit, bro. But right. Like, not even social media. Like, they go to school and the music they listen to and all that shit. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword. We need to shine a light on mental health, mm-hmm. and we need to really focus on it. But we don't need to focus on it in social media and on TV and all that shit. Like, we need to shed a light and have avenues and places people can go.
Way more avenues for sure.
Right.
Right.
Besides the people surrounding them.
Right.
But we also need to do our part as friends and family, mm-hmm. and not turn our back so quickly.
Yeah, shun that certain person who's going through something.
Right.
You know,
right.
So many times too, man, you know, we're a bully to that person, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Or, like you said, turn your back, turn a blind eye, and be like, he's fine or she's fine. Don't worry about it. They're okay. They're not okay.
Right.
You know, they need help. You know, So yeah, man, I just it's just, this week in particular has just really been it's just kind of been on my mind, man. This whole mental health stuff, and I really don't hear a lot of it being talked about. So I really felt like it was kind of our first step to at least talk about it. And
and I think we got to continue to address it.
Oh, I think we will. I think we will as we keep going, and there'll be certain situations that come up. And I also want to say too, man. If you're going through something, please try to get out of your own way. Try to get out. Try to seek some help if you can.
Look.
But also, I know for me, like going and working out, I ain't trying to get huge, or that's not the point. I like to do it because it makes me feel better.
Right.
I like getting outside and seeing nature. That makes me feel better.
Right.
There are certain things. I think everybody has something, whether it be yoga, working out, taking up like karate or, jiu-jitsu or something
positive.
like that. Yeah, finding an avenue to release, But that's a different step. I'm just saying they're obviously, that's take the proper steps to get to your
multiple steps,
more mental healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think to kind of piggyback off your point, definitely find something positive to do.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody positive to talk to that will just listen.
Right.
Don't look for somebody to give advice.
Right. I think
look for somebody
way more dangerous.
Oh, way more dangerous.
Right.
That's when the mental health part of it, right? The illness part of it can be almost directed.
Right.
Don't look for advice. Look for somebody to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just know, if there's anything if you're listening to this podcast, or you know somebody, you're listening to this podcast and it's you, or somebody who's going through something, reach out to that person, right? Or know that if it's you that's going through something, know that there's somebody out there who, for one, has gone through the same thing or something very similar.
Right.
And you're not alone. Nobody's ever alone. No,
right.
There's no person in this world who has not gone through something very similar to somebody else. Whatever struggle it is, whatever success it was, everything is balanced. And there's always somebody who's got your back.
Right.
And you just don't fucking know it yet.
Right. That's very true.
And you know what? If you don't know it, we got your back.
That's right, man.
Me and Z got your back, man.
That's right, man.
So if you're going through something, man, and
Reach
you're
out.
listening to this, man, leave a comment, man. Let us know what's going on, man.
Reach out to
we'll
us,
talk
man.
to you, man.
Yeah,
we'll give you a shout out, man.
That's right.
We'll give you a shout out and,
man.
talk to us, man.
Because
look, man, I'm still going through shit. I'm 33 years old, almost on the way. 32. Couple days.
Right.
Still going through shit, man.
Oh, man. All right, man.